Hi, it's Coach Mike here again with Lester from Smash Performance Academy to demonstrate some of the ways we use Miniband drills. I like the cloth reinforced elasticized ones from IronEdge. Green for heavy, blue for extra heavy, and black for extra heavy. Even young kids are quite good with the green. Younger to medium-aged teenagers and adults and everyone else with the black. Okay, so Lester's just going to demonstrate a range of drills we do. First of all, for abductors, so sticking it on around your ankles, facing sideways. Okay, and just side stepping. Normally do it for 10 or 20 metres or 10 steps. Here we're just demoing how it works. Okay, facing forwards. I like this variation of walking linearly. So it's left, bring the right up. Okay, left back, bring the right up. We always work in both directions. And the other foot, right, bring the left up. Right, bring the left up again, going backwards. And 45s to finish, do 4. So 45, bring them together, push them apart, and the aim is to stretch the band, okay, and backwards. So we've done sideways, linear, and 45, a combination of both. I suppose you'd call it right and left foot. You can do the skipping versions of that. So let's do a side shuffle, just a couple of steps side shuffle. So instead of just stepping, you can do side shuffle. I don't think that's as beneficial because the time under tension is not as great, and back. Scissors, I think, is a more beneficial drill. So we scissors backwards and forwards. Okay, adds just a little bit of tension and actually springs your leg back. And 45 degrees bounding zigzags. Okay, if you haven't had athletes do the bounding ones before, I'd be a bit careful because it's not as easy as Lester makes it look. Okay, and backwards. Right, because they will fall over and do stupid things. Better off on socks. You find it pulls on your hairs if you put it on bare skin. All right, next, round your toes. Face it sort of 45 degrees. Right, and he's just gonna do marching drills, like lift it up high, legs at 90. Okay, so go 1, 2, 3, pulling up as high as you can, 4, 5, 6. Okay, now put it on the end of your toes, end of your foot, and feet apart a little bit, toes out a little bit, and do some squats. Okay, you've got to try and keep the tension on that, and just adds a little bit of different stress on your feet right through your legs. Okay, a little bit harder than a normal squat. All right, now I'm going to put it on your knees. So the idea is to have a little bit of tension on it, not sort of go out as far as you can, because you can't. Okay, so and now feet are at like 45 degrees out or 9 degrees to each other. So your knees are going to angle out when you do the squat. Okay, just 5 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You'll find using the bands actually promotes better squat mechanics, particularly with young athletes. Okay, because to do it right, they have to, well, to stretch the band out, they have to do it right in hip hinging backwards. Okay, bird dog, read your toes. Sorry, lying on your back, dead bug. Okay, 45 degrees, that's it. So this is sort of the reverse of the hip flexion drill. Now we're doing hip extension. Okay, so pushing back. So one leg has to hold it, and the other leg extends out. Okay, do 6 of those. Harder than it looks, this one, isn't it, Lester? Yeah. Okay. Particularly young athletes won't be able to hold their legs up. both legs, one will fully extend and the other will semi-extend. Right, but the aim is to keep it one leg at 90 and straighten the other leg. Okay, so from there, round your knees, soles of your feet together. So this one works a little bit better, a little bit wider than your knees. You've got to put your heels as close to your groin as you can. Okay, and bridging up like that. Haven't got a great range of motion on that one, but just adds a little bit of different emphasis to something else. And I tend to think that if you do the same warm-up and activation mobility stuff all the time, you're probably missing out a little bit, and you should vary your drills, and using bands is just another way of doing that. Okay, clamshells. Okay, there's several ways of doing this. The first one we'll do is at hip at 90. Okay, so we have the knees at 90. You don't want to roll your back, so junior athletes, you probably want to stick their backs against the wall or a pillar or something, okay, so that they don't roll over. So the aim is to keep your hips and back solid and just lift up. Okay, a harder variation is, let's just stay there and lift your foot up. Now lift your right foot up, and now do it from there. Okay, so foot in there, that's a lot harder. Okay, that's a harder variation. Okay, easier if you have it on. So roll over again. Now we have the hips at 135, knees are always at 90. So in effect, your feet, bum and head are all in line this time. Okay, so we go again. Changes the emphasis, slightly different way of working the hips. Okay. Right, don't do the other side. Now just put your hips at 90. Okay, so we've brought our hips all the way forward. So this time we have a straight line between knee, hips and head. That one's probably the hardest, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, might want to do that first. Okay, so that's a little bit harder. Don't worry about the other side, but you would obviously do both sides in this case. So clamshells are quite a good exercise. The only thing is in all those drills we haven't worked our adductors, and it's a little bit harder to do that. Probably the best way is you do a side plank with your foot up on a chair, and I might show that on my next core series. Okay, so you should work your adductors as well. Probably the abductor is a little bit more important, but as always, you should work both sides of your motion. Okay. Anyway, that's all the ones we commonly use. So thanks, Lester, and we'll see you next video.